Chapter 45 The Mirage, Las Vegas, Nevada. Friday night. I wasn't exactly a whale, but the size and quantity of my bets were enough to make Ming sweat. I knew that the yellow cut card would be coming within the next few rounds of dealing. This was it. Any anxiety I felt was easily trumped by the palpable tension among the gallery of people around me. Laura, Ming, and I surmised casino surveillance. Laura reached again to pull a card from under the coarse hairs of the front of the blackjack shoe. 8, for a total 23. "Dealer bust!" exclaimed Laura with a giddiness not appreciated by her supervisors. Although it had happened just moments earlier, Laura, the blackjack dealer at the Mirage, had become a distant memory. It was Friday night in Vegas, and D.A. and I had just had our biggest score ever. We were minutes away from retirement from the game. My pockets were so full of chips that it was uncomfortable to walk. I didn't want to risk chips or cash falling out, so I did my best to hurry to the car. The win was big enough that it garnered our first significant amount of heat on the strip in months. To protect ourselves from being barred, we knew that leaving the casino together wasn't a good idea, especially since we could always come out of retirement in the future. When I reached the car, I got in and locked all of the doors. I took a deep breath and reflected on what just had happened. It had been more than 3 years since I first started learning the game as a professional. Now my career was coming to a close. We were going out on top, and the big win was the icing on the cake. I texted D.A., valet in 15. I wanted to give D.A. enough time to finish up at the table, color up, and make his way to the valet stand where I would circle around and pick him up. I also remembered that he'd ordered a drink and would probably enjoy savoring victory a bit. Alan Berg, in The Counting Game, an accountant reveals how to win at blackjack, wrote, "Just as Red Auerbach of the Celtics lit up a cigar when he had the game under wraps, I might order a stiff drink when I know I'm going to leave a table a winner." D.A.'s go-to drink was Maker's Mark and Coke. He ordered it at the end of a day's work, especially when he played the demanding role of signaler, and I had colored up for a sizable profit. He would linger for a bit so we didn't appear to be together. I took a moment to gather myself. I thought back to the beginning. How my friend Steve had suggested I read Bringing Down the House. My bachelor lifestyle, the seminar with Semyon, the private training with Mike, New Year's Eve trips, strip hotels, dive casinos in Detroit and New York, playing in London, limousines, title fights, Cirque du Soleil, steak dinners, comp suites, and of course, the money. I turned on the car and made my way down the ramp, through the winding exit of the Mirage garage, out to side streets that wrapped around toward the front of the hotel and the valet stand. When I pulled up, I saw D.A. burst through the front door, sprinting to the car. "What the hell's going on?" D.A. made a beeline to the car, passing through a line of patrons waiting for a taxi. He could have done some damage if he wasn't careful, but he managed to avoid knocking anyone down. Steps behind him, security guards trailed with two-way radios in hand. In all our time, I hadn't seen what a real chase looked like. After all, I was usually the one being chased. In a strange way, the few seconds I witnessed were fascinating to watch. We were finishing up our playing careers, and I tried to enjoy every moment of it. But my first instinct was to make sure the car had a free path out. Fortunately, there wasn't much traffic, and when D.A. finally got in, I knew the route to take where no other cars, limos, or taxis would impede our path, and no pedestrians would be at risk. His big body slammed into the passenger seat almost simultaneously as his side door slammed shut. "Hi, Turney," he joked, referencing the assumed name I'd been playing under. "What happened? Is this because of my win?" I was confused. D.A. was supposed to get up from the table shortly after I left. I couldn't comprehend why security would be in pursuit.
No, it's because of mine.
As I pulled out of the Mirage parking lot and took a right onto Las Vegas Boulevard, security was no longer a concern, and we could talk about what had happened on the way back to MGM. We passed the pirate ship at Treasure Island on our right, and I continued my questioning. What do you mean? What happened? You were playing the table minimum.
I was until you left. Then my drink came, and while I was waiting for it, the count was still high. There was another round to be dealt. You said you wanted to go out in style, so I raised my bets.
I wonder if they knew we were together.
Well, Ming definitely wasn't smiling anymore, and your girl Laura was practically shaking. Once you left, I knew I only had a minute left, and the table had cleared out. I was heads up with Laura. So what happened? I played every spot on the table. Laura was still stunned from your win, and then when I bet, her jaw was on the floor. With the commotion, she didn't dare get Ming off the phone. A few people were still around the table talking about your session, asking me questions about observing your crazy play. So when I put out 7 bets, people were freaking out even more. Ming was scrambling between his phone call and trying to watch the table, and security was over my shoulder. It was complete chaos.
Unbelievable. What happened?
Laura drew to 17. I lost 3 bets and won 4, plus a split and a double down. People were freaking out. I just grabbed my chips and ran. I didn't even know those security guards were behind me until I was halfway out the door. Good thing I used to play football.
Yeah, but weren't you a kicker?
Whatever, man. They still couldn't keep up.
So how much did you win?
6,500 more.
Are we sure we want to retire? I joked.